afternoon and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more. Thanks so much for taking time out of your late Thursday afternoon to join us. Full disclosure, obviously joining you a little earlier than normal. Me and the Pipsqueak are going to have a little daddy-daughter time later, so I'm going to go pick her up, and the world is our oyster for the rest of the afternoon and evening. Probably means we're just going to be sitting here reading books and playing with stuffed animals, which is perfection. Across the area, not a whole lot happening right now. And again, full disclosure, a lot of folks are going to see this after the fact and are not joining us live. That's okay, too. That's what these are all designed to do, just to bring you the latest updates with the forecast. As we lose daylight on this Thursday, a lot of our afternoon clouds are already starting to thin out. They'll thin out through the rest of the evening. Could roll back in around daybreak tomorrow. Not really overly concerned about it really altering the forecast, but we could even run into some areas of fog as well. Radar products made possible by Brown's Roofing. Not a whole lot happening. Not expecting that to change through the weekend and into the early parts of next week, but again, some things are coming into better focus regarding what we deal with that late week storm system. We'll tackle that in just a minute. A look at some unofficial high temperatures from the day. Upper 70s to near 80 degrees. A lot of areas returning to the low 80s this afternoon. 82 in Gina, 81 Natchitoches, 82 in Shreveport, and I would expect the 80s to become even more widespread through the daytime hours tomorrow. Currently, most of us are generally in the upper end of the 70s. Some spots still hovering near 80 in Winfield. Over in Shreveport, they're at 82. 79 currently in Monroe. 78 Ruston, 77 in El Dorado, Greenville, Camden, 78 in Monticello, 77 in Vicksburg. So temperatures are generally fairly uniform at this hour. Winds are out of the south, and they've been fairly light today. Should pick up a smidge, skosh, tiny bit, little bit tomorrow. Perhaps closer to the 10-mile-an-hour range through the afternoon. Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. And I'm pausing it here because this is what everybody wants to see. They want to see the upper-level maps are, I think, a better truth teller into what we're dealing with. But everybody wants to see what it looks like rain-wise at the surface. And this would be our Thursday night storm system in its form as the computer models interpret it. And this is based off of the American GFS. Full disclosure, the GFS model has been less than stellar for the last couple of weeks. But in full disclosure as well, the European model is kind of similar. The upper level aspects are quite different, but similar but the same. But they both kind of bring the same storm system through the same area at the same time, which is generally late Thursday. That's a week from now. So again, in full disclosure, a lot of details are going to change between now and then. This model output and what you see on the screen will look different in 6 hours, and then it'll look different from that in 6 hours, and so on and so forth over the next week. It's just painting a picture for us. And sometimes those pictures are accurate, sometimes they are not. Beyond that Thursday storm system, it looks as though there's going to be something behind it. How potent that will be and when it impacts our area is very, very much up for discussion. Some computer models suggest Saturday, Sunday. Some are saying Monday, Tuesday of next week. Some saying Sunday, Monday, and then bringing another system in right around Thanksgiving. We're talking 2 weeks out. And the only reason we're really talking about this right now is because there is nothing else to talk about. This is the next big weather headline, and it is a week away. So we are going to spend some time on it, even though we don't really know a lot about it. And then that moves out, and like I said, we'll deal with something probably Thanksgiving week as well. Just don't know a lot about it. Futurecast showing what we call precipitable water, total precipitable water. It's essentially looking at the column of air above you and how much water would be in it, or how much rain would fall if you took all of that moisture and you wrung it out in terms of rainfall. The numbers themselves are not overly important. Well, they are important, but they're not important to you. But what is most important is what you're seeing in terms of the total depth of moisture in the atmosphere. Right now, things are fairly dry, and as we go into the weekend, this is Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, as ridging aloft, high pressure builds aloft, it will probably even zap the moisture that we have currently, which is allowing for those morning clouds. We'll probably even see that thin out for a couple of days. As we go into the early parts of next week, as that ridge of high pressure gets weakened and kind of broken down and relocated, gets kind of pushed off to the southeast, it will allow for the subtropical moisture that I was talking about during the midday stream to get a little bit more amplified and active and return to the area. And so that could also allow for some weak disturbances to maybe fuel some rain chances early parts of next week. And really, the only reason that we could even entertain rain chances in the early parts of next week, and I've kept them fairly low, would be because we just have a slightly better quality of moisture. Instead of seeing those blues and teals and turquoise colors, we're getting into the greens and yellows. So just getting better fetches of moisture to work with. Now, as we work deeper into the week, subtropical moisture just starts to accumulate, just starts stacking up ahead of that advancing Wednesday, Thursday storm system. And now you're starting to see a much deep layered, humid, moist air mass in place. And then by the time the system arrives on Thursday, there's a lot of water in the atmosphere to work with. So obviously you can see why above average temperatures, advancing pretty strong cold front storm system probably brings at least some scenario of either heavy rain, severe weather, or a combination of both. Now, it could also just evolve into a really sloppy, rainy Thursday next week. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. Again, timing and specifics are something that we just really can't get into yet, and I think it's silly to even entertain. But the trend is lots of moisture moving back into the region, big storm system to swing through and kind of scour that out, squeegee that out. And whatever form it does that in, we'll tackle that when it gets here. Look at the precip outlook, the 6 to 10 day outlook. I'm not going to show you the 8 to 14 day, just showing you the 6 to 10 to reaffirm what I was just telling you, that we are trending pretty soggy by the middle to end parts of next week, and it could come in like a 1-2 punch, depending. And a lot of the rainfall forecast that you're seeing here over the next 7 days, a lot of the rain that we see falls just outside that 7-day window. So this is advertising rain, I believe, going into Thursday morning, but it may not really encompass all of the rainfall that we see from this storm system. I hope that all makes sense. It seemed very jumbled up in my mind. And for those that, again, don't necessarily get as much from the videos, I will have a... I'm finishing up the write-up regarding next week's early vague details, and that should be ready by around 6 o'clock this evening. So if you prefer to read and look at pictures instead of sitting here watching me talk about it, that'll be out in about an hour and a half or so. And so you can read through that. Again, there's not a lot of details. It's a lot of trends, but confidence is starting to grow in what we'll deal with next week. Low to mid 50s tonight. Clouds return. Some patchy fog not out of the question, especially in the river valleys. Daytime highs tomorrow back near 80. A lot of us hit 80 today. If you didn't see it today, there's a darn good chance you're going to see it tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south under mostly sunny skies. Again, the drier air really works in through the afternoon, and it kind of zaps the cloud cover. So while we do see the occasional afternoon clouds, the real focus is on the temperatures that will be well above normal for the rest of the week and into early next week. Again, spotty rain chances could return as early as Monday or Tuesday, depending on a few weak storm systems that move through the mid-Mississippi Valley. Highs still in the low 80s by then. Morning lows, low 60s. Wednesday, Thursday, the rain chances start to beef up a little bit. And I've already highlighted Thursday in red just simply to get your attention. That's kind of what the whole point of that is for. But also just to a note, again, I would expect to see some type of combination of either a severe weather threat, a heavy rain threat, or maybe a little bit of both. I think the heavy rain threat is the more foregone conclusion at this point, but there's still a lot of time for things to change. So we'll keep you updated on that, and I'll join you first thing tomorrow morning. Again, I'll have a full type-up write-up about what to expect next week, what we know, what we don't know, all of that stuff at about 6 o'clock this evening. Fish and Game comes out at 8. I'll join you first thing tomorrow morning with the most updated look at all of this stuff, and we'll tackle it tomorrow, and then we'll tackle it, early next week as well. We'll also have your football forecast tomorrow evening. Got some doozy of some college games out this weekend. Louisiana Tech's going to Washington State. Grambling's going to Alcorn State. South Alabama's coming to Malone Stadium to face the Warhawks. And we got the Battle of the Timberlands. UAM and SAU. The Mule Riders and the Boll Weevils. Actually, did I say UAM and SAU? So it'd be the Boll Weevils and the Mule Riders, respectively. Either way, UAM, SAU, be a great game. again, fishing game out at 8. I'll have more information about the heavy rain and all that stuff out at 6. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app available for Apple and Android users. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to spend it with us. And as always, I'm so glad you're here. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank.